This is a chart of Donald Trump. Now, just looking at it, it's a chart of a very powerful person with very original methods, not a conformer by any means. It has a flavor of freedom, but also somebody that seeks emotional connections. So when I do the chart of a politician, I avoid getting in the way with my own bias. So I will well, as best I can anyway. So I will explain the energy patterns and how they work at their worst and how they can work at their best. Because you cannot determine the level of somebody's consciousness by their charts. It's like you can do the same chart for a chicken or a person, totally different levels of consciousness. I believe that you trust what people do, not what they say. So let's have a look. I hope you can see the cursor there on the left-hand side. You've got Mars in Leo on the ascendant. So where Mars is in your chart, that's where your energy is, your drive is, your urge to stand up for yourself, to defend yourself, to do it, to take action. So Trump's drive is right there at the front door when you first meet him, right up front. And there are 6 angles on a chart. The ascendant is one of them, that line right on the left-hand side there. And you have the descendant on the other side. You have a midheaven at the top of the chart and the IC at the bottom of the chart. You also have 2 other angles called the south node. That's right down the bottom of the chart next to his moon there. And your north node up here. So any planet that is close to these angles is amplified. It's a bit like when the sun's coming up in the morning, looks twice as big. That's what is happening to his Mars. Okay. So Mars is being amplified and it's in Leo. So it wants to take charge and it's drawn to leadership roles. At its best, it can be a creative drive, very focused, that can take charge. At its worst, it can be ego-driven, needs to win and can get angry when you don't. Now, one thing I noticed, if you look up here, you can see it, there's a lot of Cancerian planets. And also, his moon is very prominent. So when you have Cancer and your moon prominent, that is someone that is very personal and caring, very sensitive to other people's needs and wants to protect and nurture. Okay. Or it can be someone that's very insecure, defensive, and wants to cling to security. You decide. It's in the 11th house, or this Cancer, which is in the area of group consciousness, awareness of individual and nature's needs, and having a vision for the future. So now let's look at the moon. It's right at the bottom of the chart down here, the deep personal. So where your moon is in your chart is where you seek emotional security. And Trump's moon is in Sagittarius. It's seeking It's seeking emotional security and freedom, expansion, understanding the big picture. It's also in a very personal place where he seeks to be close to the family and have private time. So his moon has an opposition. See the red lines going up to the top of the chart? An opposition to his sun, Sun, in Gemini in the 10th house. So the sun in your chart is where you seek to shine out and express yourself. But sometimes the sun can be like a desert sun. It can be overbearing and bossy and demanding, or it can be a shy or weak sun. Ideally, see the little dot in the sun there? You're in your center. You know who you are. You're confident and you can shine out and express yourself. So the sun is right next to what's called the North Node. And that makes it even bigger. So he's got a very bright, burning sun there. And the North Node is where the universe pushes you to develop that area to its highest level. So his big tests are he's going from Sagittarius, where you can generalize and big picture. Actually, his nodes are the same as Kamala Harris. So he's from gross generalizations and avoidance, he's learning to be more articulate, more accurate, and communicate things down to earth more, where people get it. Is he doing that? And he's here to learn to use the sun, take the sun to his highest potential, where he's confident and he knows himself and he's in his power. And then it's in the 10th house. So the 4th house is where he would probably prefer to hang out with the family and have Sagittarian fun and play and do his own personal life, but he's been drawn to the public professional arena and have a purpose there, the sun purpose. So, what is the test of the 10th house? The test is being responsible in your professional role and managing people professionally with responsibility. So that's the big test. Now, Uranus is right next to it. So Uranus is a major player in all of this. It's a key, it's a pivotal point. So it's really important that we understand what Uranus is about. So I'm going to take in, I've been skimming over everything else, but we're going to go a little bit deeper with it because it's such a profound energy. It's a transpersonal energy. It takes you beyond your personal ego. So to understand Uranus, you can look at, have you seen those 3D pictures? You got a surface picture, and let's say that surface picture is the programmed you, where you've been programmed from your teachers, preachers, parents, peers, everybody putting in their programming, society's programming. And then you see through the picture and you see another picture. Now, that picture can just be a different picture. You see something totally different, or you see what is without the programming. And when you see what is clearly enough, that's called enlightenment because you're no longer in the program, in the matrix. You can step out of it. So that happens in your chart in one area, and Uranus is here to step out of the matrix where we're being programmed and conditions like little puppets reacting, where you can step back from it and see through it clearly. So there are 3 Ds. The first D is you want to be different, don't want to fit in, don't want to conform. Got to do it differently, got to be free. So this is one of the energies he's using or learning. And if that level is not working well, it's like you can be just an antisocial rat bag. You can disrupt things, or you can break free of the old patterns, go in a totally different direction. You know, Trump is actually an agent of chaos to break up the old system. Uranus is actually Aquarius, and this is a big thing about the age of Aquarius. We're here to wake up and become conscious, and see we can go in 2 different directions. We can go into transhumanism and detachment from the our heart, our humanity, or we can go into a time of great awakening and awareness where we shed off the old program. So the second D is detachment. Now, is Trump detached where he doesn't connect with the personal, doesn't connect with humanity? Or is he detached where he can step back and see through the programming? Because it's the last D where you're deprogrammed or dewired, where you're no longer hooked into the matrix, where you can step back and see things in a unique, original way. You can see through the programming and use that individuality, that awareness to create powerful, positive change. And it's exactly what's happening. Now, whether you agree with the change, whether they're totally just chaotic or whether he's just breaking through the old system and detaching from, well, you've got to look at, was it a great system? Is his vision for the future? What's going to happen with the world? You've got to look at all that. So, Uranus is the key to it all. I hope you enjoyed this little talk. This is Michael Cherney signing out.